Hello and welcome to Spurs Kings TV. It's the host Marlon, and I've got Ashmatic as well. Ash, how you doing?
Yes, my brother, I am blessed. I'm good. I'm well, and I'm here, man. And it's been a nice little break. Good to be back, talking all things with Spurs, with yourself and others. Hopefully, man. How you doing?
All good, all good. I'm still trying to keep away from Spurs. Euro is still on my brain, but you know what? We've made a signing, so
Hear it,
we
bro.
have to come back.
I-
We have to come back. Let's get this show on the road. There's transfer windows open. Ash has got to be ready with all these rumors. But yeah, anyone else
Oh,
is in the
jeez.
chat tonight. Nice to see you. Welcome back. Spurs Kings TV is back. But first, we've got a guest. Who is the person that's going to take us through tonight's show? May a big welcome to Charlie. Are you Charlie? Are you well?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on the show tonight for debut. Big up the chat, big up everyone. Thanks for having me on, Ash. Thanks for having me on, Marlon. How you guys doing?
All good.
All
All
good,
good.
man.
All good. Anyway, let's get into Spurs. Transfer window opens. Right, obviously, we've signed Werner already on loan. But then news gathers over the weekend. Archie Gray is about to sign for Brentford. Gets a phone call. I don't know who from, whether it's Lange or Ange or somebody. We want you. We're gonna actually make a signing. And then today it is confirmed. We have signed Archie Gray, roughly around 40 million. That includes the road on South. Ash, how are you taking the news? Because it's been obviously it's split the fan base already. And he's what? He's 18?
You know what? I expected these type of signings to happen earlier, at the beginning of Ange's tenure, because when we looked at what he did at Celtic, he was all about the youth, wasn't he? So I
Mm-hmm.
thought straight away we're going to be buying young players, and the rumors were we were going to do the whole Brighton model, and therefore look at players according to their metrics, their data, and be analytically led. So I thought we were literally looking at with Brighton, they have a lot of youngsters in their squad, but it's all about the profile, the actual identity of the player. What are their makeups? What are their traits? And then basically, if they lose a player, they can replace him because they've got a similar player in of that kind of shape and that type of ilk. So that's what I thought we were going to do a little bit sooner. Obviously, we've had one game a week last season, and then we looked to this season. Now we've got 2 games a week. And I remember we had a conversation on we're in the studio, and you were saying, "Bro, we need Europa," and I was like, "No, one game a week, man, because we need that rest, bro." Obviously, the youth couldn't get bled in. There was no opportunity for him to get, have a chance. And now look, we got Europa, and all of a sudden, we're being linked with youngsters. So, Archie Gray, me personally, I'm not mad at it. Like for me, it's about having players with technical ability, players that can play football, as opposed to having athletes. Because I think with footballers, you can turn them into athletes, but you can't turn an athlete into a footballer. That's how I look at it. So I've looked at him and I've said, you know what? He looks like a footballer to me, and he's raised by football heritage in his family.
Yeah. Big up Football
Leave
Heritage TV.
it like that, bro. I'm gonna leave it at that. But yeah, it looks like he's got the tech. So I'm happy. Like before, we're linked to players that high energy. Like, what's their attributes? Oh, they run around a lot. What? Are you all right? What do you mean run around? That's not what's not your special power? Like, supposing like this is the school of Xavier and we got a bunch of X-Men or Avengers, and he said, "Raw, what's your superpowers?" My superpowers is just being a mutant. Like, no, you need to have a power. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I looked at it anyway.
Let me bring Charlie into it before we get into the whole what he does and what he brings to the team and everything like that. Charlie, obviously, announced this morning, wasn't it? This morning that we've signed Archie Gray. Obviously, as I said earlier, it was all rumored over the weekend and yesterday that he was going to come to Spurs. What did you make of the signing when you first heard about it? Are you like, when I say the fan base is proper split, like, I'm only going through social media here. I'm not going through, I haven't spoke to people at the stadium. I'm looking at social media here, and it's very, 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 very split down the
I,
middle.
I'm bloody happy, man. I'm seriously off my rocker. If you have seen the guy play, you know how good he is. And saying 18-year-old 40 million, it immediately turns head. It's like, why on earth this? It's not good. This, that, this, that. If you've seen the kid play, he was 17 for 80% of the season, played 40 games as a 17-year-old, played under 21s this season, won EFL Championship Player of the Young Player of the Season. Great on the ball, versatile. He's the best in midfield, can play right back as well, which helps us in different areas. It has loads of potential. It comes from, football heritage, as you said. Dad's been a footballer. His younger brother is a great footballer too. I reckon we see him going through the ranks in the next couple of years. But granddad was and his great uncle was a great footballer. This is all just, it screams guy that is going to just make it for us. He's got the good attitude. He's everything we need right now. He's head on. If you've seen, have you seen the picture of him standing in the middle of the Leeds thing? He's already a leader. He's brave. He's on the ball. I don't get why people are so disappointed about the signing. It's really just you must. If you haven't seen him, I get it. But just take a look at the play. You'll see the positives.
Ash,
Yeah.
what is Archie Gray going to bring to Spurs? Okay, so the biggest problem I think most people have with this signing is no one knows where he's going to play. And the reason why I say that is, right, a lot of rumours are coming out that he's going to play as a central midfielder. Some people are saying he's going to be the backup to Porro and play right back, because the majority of the games that he played, as Charlie said, how many games he had this year, majority of them are at right back, right, where he filled in. Obviously, where they had Jed Spence because he couldn't play because he was injured as well. So we figured out that part as well. But what is Archie Gray going to bring to Spurs? Because will he be that midfielder that we are looking for?
Well, it's funny watching the interview. Big up Mr. Box Office TV, man. Watching the interview that he did, he said his disposition is an 8. That's what he said. And he has played a number of games at number 6, and he filled in as a right back because their captain, Ireland, who plays for Leeds in the right back position, got injured, and so he had to play on the right hand side as a right back.
Shall I give you stats?
For that reason?
Yeah. Shall I give you stats from this season?
As a 17-year-old, don't forget that.
Yeah, he played 30 games at right back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he played 30 games at right back, 21 as a number 8, 14 as a number 10, and 6 as a number 6. He played a number 9 role as well twice, and he played on the left wing once. So where's he going to play?
So if you look at
if you say he's going to be a number 8, do we not have 3 of them already?
Yeah. So if you look at what Ange typically does with the profile players that he has, he likes players that can play in an array of positions. So he doesn't have his fullbacks play as fullbacks. He likes his fullbacks to invert. And so with Archie, if he was to play as a right back, at times you'd ask him to invert and play in the midfield, coming off the right hand side, and at times you'd tell him to maybe be more as your orthodox fullback or winger and go on the outside and maybe whip balls in. So because Archie's played all over for Leeds, I think he profiles well for Postecoglou's system, because at times he might need to cover in for a Basuma or a Porro, so he could do either job. Or if Saar is looking a bit leggy, then he can fill into the number 8 role. And at the moment, from what I see, is it looks like Skip's on his way out. It looks like Højbjerg's on his way out. Bentancur, I'm not entirely sure what the situation is with Bentancur at the moment. I know he had a little madness with Son.
Yeah, I know there's a little rumor going around, slight rumor that Ange wants rid is the reason why you're hesitant. But there's a rumor going around Ange will consider any offers for Bentancur in the summer. So
this is what I'm saying. If you've got Bentancur, potentially you've got Skip, and you've got Højbjerg, and not to mention Lo Celso, who's also an 8. I know he's more of an attacking 8, but that's 4 midfielders that could possibly go out the door. No longer does it look like we've got like quite a lot of midfielders in that position, considering we're going to be playing in the Premier League, the FA Cup, the League Cup, and also Europa Cup. So there's going to be a lot of room for rotation, and we need a bit of squad depth. And so, a bit like what Man City do, they don't profile a player for one position. They have a player that can fit multiple positions, and therefore, that way the squad's not too bloated, and they can kind of rotate. So you might see Jack Grealish. You might see, Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden. At times they play as eights, but then at times they play as a midfield four. At times they play wide. And so I think, I'm not saying what Man City, but I'm saying what Postecoglou might possibly do is have midfielders or players that play in more than one position. And that way we've got more flexibility in those positions, if that makes sense.
Charlie, let me bring you in on it as well, because you said you've watched him correctly. Yeah. So where do you see him fitting in? If you've seen him play, where do you see him fitting into Ange's system? As
100%, 100% 8, 100% 8 or 6. He's not a right back. He's literally been just doing to fill it in. He's been doing a good job, but his actual true position is in the midfield. He'll strive there. He'll grow the most there. But in the end, just giving him game time will grow him. We'll give him more. We'll just improve him in every aspect. But 100% play him in the middle. He's been making all these great passes. Defensively, he's all right. He's 17. He was 17 half the season. He's been 18. You're not going to be as strong as a 24-year-old, as a 25-year-old in your peak physique. I mean, he is just a great. He is just 8. He's great on the ball, brave, makes good dribbles, can get out of tight spaces, makes good passes. I mean, all these things. He's an 8 or a 6. He's not a right back. He's just been filling in, but he can do it, as we've seen this season.
Stress said box office. Are you there? Go on, because I can see your face. I probably know what you're going to say. What's your opinion on it?
It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. I'd even base it on this transfer window, but this is just embarrassing now, guys. Absolutely embarrassing.
But what's embarrassing about it?
The fact is, right, this guy's only had one season in the Championship. Right, Leeds didn't even go up. Right, I'm sorry, but he's not that special because these didn't go up. They didn't go up. They didn't win the champ. They didn't win the playoff.
As a right back, you can't really.
Okay. Yeah, but Charlie, truth hurts. He didn't get up. If he's that special, right? He inspires the team to win that game in the playoffs. Yeah, special players get you over that line. Yeah, a special player is Kafascalia. That's a special player. Yeah, one season in the Championship, and everyone's going over the top. Oh, he's played 52 games. Dele Alli's has spent a lot of games. I'm sorry, absolutely embarrassing.
But the thing is, Alex, he's been good for the last 2 years.
Charlie, I'm sorry.
He's been good for the last 2 years. He's seriously been on great. He was in the first team when he was 16. You're basing this off things you have heard. You have not watched him play. You don't know anything.
So what have I not seen him play? So what?
But
so
it does
what have
matter.
I not seen him play? So what? It's not my job to know whether he's seen him play or not. It's not my job.
So, but how can you then bring all this judgment on him?
He's only played one game that everyone was going over the top about, Chelsea, and I've seen a little bit of it. And yes, he's a below average Michael Carrick. Yes, no one went over the top about Michael Carrick, but he did it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons. Yeah, and that's the thing. So I'm sorry, I'm not even. It's rubbish. It's rubbish. I'm just flabbergasted. And then you got journalists that are putting the sound bites out. Alistair Gold, what is he saying? Generational talent?
You're a lover boy.
Generational talent? What the hell are we talking about? What the hell? Honestly, it's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. I don't know what is going on here. Honestly, what is going on with football? And then we've got a tournament that's absolutely bang average in terms of quality. The Euros. You know what I mean? But then we've got this joke. Honestly, I don't know where to go. Honestly, I don't know where to go. I'm sorry. It was after when I saw, and someone sent it to me just now. Yeah. Luckily, I was doing exercise. Yeah. Benching, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But honestly, it's embarrassing. I'm sorry. Football's dead. I'm sorry. Back to you guys. I'm done.
Alex, but quick question, yeah. Like people will moan that we can't buy players from the Championship. So let's take Eze when he was available, Elise when he was available. Let's take Adam Wharton in January, who's just got in the England squad and had a good half season for Palace. Why not take the punt on Archie Gray? Why is it embarrassing when?
No, it's fine.
But you've not seen him play, so like, and the window's not finished. Window's not finished, right? So is it not the whole of this? I get it. It's on the back of Werner and Archie Gray's come in, but is it a case of wait till the window's finished before you sit there and saying dismissing it all? Because we don't know who else is going to come in. Because Archie Gray could be. Look, for me, it could be a case of Archie Gray, and then if we went and signed, look, I know it's Spurs, right? And I'm speaking hypothetically here. If we went and signed other big signings in key positions, like our front three, right? I'm going to bang on about our front three, right? Say we went and signed a decent front three, will Archie Gray then become a decent signing? Because actually he's in a key position. He'll get, as Charlie and Ash have said earlier, there's going to be more games for him to play this year.
Fair enough, but there was not that much fuss over Wharton. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but there wasn't. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. There wasn't fuss over Wharton. I remember me and Ash doing stats on Wharton, and we both liked him and went, but will Spurs take it? We'll take it on. Spurs won't take it, and a lot of fans will moan.
This is just way blown out of proportion, by the way. By the way, it's nice to have Marlon on the stream because I'm trying to find out the real Marlon. Because when I watched him on Last Word on Spurs, I'm not sitting there watching him. I'm like, what? This Marlon? What? Where's this Marlon come from? Where's this Marlon come from, by the way? Where is he? Where is he, bro? Oh my gosh. I suppose, is it? Yeah? Yeah, where is he, bro? Yeah? Sorry, I had to divert. Sorry, I just had to divert the conversation because this is the first time I'm on the stream with you. And I'm also going to tell you this right now.
Show some respect to our Hall of Famer, Marlon, yeah?
Yes, I know, but still, I'm going to send it to his face. I'm going to say it straight to his face. You know what I mean? But I still love you, Marlon. You know I still love you, mate. You know what I mean? You know? But Charlie, I'm not having a go at you, by the way. I'm not having a go at you, Charlie. You know what I mean? You know how it is. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'll back you up, Charlie. Don't worry.
No, I'm not having a go at you.
I stand behind my point. I'm not going to let anyone, because I've seen him play. I've since he was 16, I've been watching him. I mean, like, you can say whatever you want. I've seen him in real life. I've seen him in flesh. You can say whatever you want behind the screen. Say, oh, he's crap. It's a thing. If you've seen a player play, you know his capabilities. At 17, at 18, playing 52 games in 3 different positions. I mean, like, it's not every year you see a player like this, and especially playing that well of the season. I mean, like, if he was playing if he was playing a 4 every week, yeah, of course it would be crap. He's playing 7s week in, week out. I mean, like, he is a talent that there's no going around it. He's got massive potential. There's no going around it. His dad's his manager. His dad would have never let him go to Spurs if he didn't get any game time because his dad wants him to become the best player that he can be. So all of these factors give me a sight. Well, I mean, like, he is coming here to play games. He's not coming here to sit on the bench. So it all sounds so weird. He is going to improve here. And I mean, like, 40 million is a lot of big price, but it is a smart signing in the end.
Listen. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm not here to change your mind, Charlie. You stick to what you say. My point is, at the moment, you're coming to a club that is not elite at the moment. You're coming to a club that is really up and down at the moment. You know what I mean?
I get that.
And you're coming to a club that have got no winners. You know what I mean? If you're going to a club like Man City, with Man City with winners, you know what I mean? People that you can just put your head on. Yeah, those are those stalwarts of the team. You've got good leaders. At the moment, I've got nice guys in my team. And unfortunately, having a young player with nice guys don't really work out very well for me. You know what I mean? Yeah, you've only got 2 arrogant players, Romero and Bentancur. Now, by what Marlon's saying, he might be leaving. So, who else have you got? You get what I'm saying? And we've already got nice guys in. Well, I'm not going to mention his name, the below average Shane Long. You can guess who I'm talking about, the German Shane Long. Yeah? Right? and that's it. And we've got what is it? Bergvall, who's now looked as from according to another YouTuber, a top YouTuber, says, "Oh, I'm so jealous of the Swedish Messi." Honestly, you couldn't make it up, bro. You couldn't make it up. Ashmatic, you're mute. You're mute, bruv.
My bad. No, you make a good point, because I was trying to figure out, and I think you're going to mention it, Marlon, about pathways. How does Archie Gray and Bergvall get into this side? And is there going to be progression? Do you know what I'm saying, within this team? Because if you look at it, if we were to get, like, say, an Eze, and he was playing as an 8, and then you've got Maddison also playing as an 8, and then you've got Sarr already, and then you've got Basuma there as well, and Bentancur, then you're starting to think, right, how am I getting these players in? Do you know what I'm saying? How does this all work? How's this mixed match? Is their progression going to be blocked? Back to the point Alex was making earlier, I remember Kvaratskhelia was at the club, wasn't he? He was at Tottenham. Paratici had brought him through, and Conte said no. And nobody had heard of him before, and we got offered him for 10 million. Do you know what I'm saying? So
I don't think he would have been the same player if he went to Tottenham, to be honest with you, mate. I don't think he would have been the same player.
Yeah, and I get. Do you know what? I don't agree with Alex a lot, and I get. Look, you got to remember who our manager was at the time. Yeah, even though Conte wants him now and says he ain't leaving, now he's got him to Napoli. I think a lot of factors do consider who the manager is at the time, and every manager we brought in. Would he be the same player if Conte was here? Probably. We don't know. It probably wouldn't be, because the club is such a mess. If you look at, like, let's take the Celso for prime example, right? His loans have been successful, but he just can't seem to manage to do it at Spurs.
And it would have been playing in a system as well. That's the thing as well. You know what I mean? And this is the thing. Now players are playing in systems. This is why I like Kvaratskhelia. He looks like a maverick that he can see this. He can see what he wants to do ahead of him. You know what I mean? He's got the foresight of what to do. You get what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that Gray hasn't got that. I'm not saying he does look like a Michael Carrick to me. He does remind me of Michael Carrick, if I'm really honest with you. Yeah. But Michael Carrick, when he started out, we weren't seeing that much fuss about him. He grew. Yeah,
but to be honest with Michael Carrick, even when he was at Man United, you didn't see fuss about him. It wasn't until he started to get onto the later years and he went on into retirement, everyone appreciated what we loved. I remember right, when Michael Carrick left Spurs, Spurs fans were screwing. Right, if X was available then, when that day happened, I think everyone would have been Levy out that day. Right, because I remember we appreciated Michael Carrick for what he did, and I think when it was because I think it was Edgar Davids that was coming to the end of his bit as well, and Michael Carrick came in, and it was literally Carrick was carrying us, literally carrying us, and what I think it was 18 million he went to Man United. Still, it was expensive at the time, but it was an absolute steal. But with Michael Carrick,
it was 18 million, a lot of money.
But what I'm trying to say is, you don't realize sometimes you don't realize these things until they're gone.
Yeah,
I think a lot. I think like Modric as well. Modric is another player. He wasn't appreciated until he left and went to Real Madrid. And remember, in his first 6 months at Real Madrid, was voted worst signing.
Can I just say this though? I have to say this, Charlie. Yeah, I do appreciate you have watched the player. You're not talking about stats. That's one thing I will say. That's one thing I will appreciate. Yeah. One thing I'll give it to you right.
This is what I'm taking what Charlie's saying. One thing I haven't watched him.
Because one thing I don't listen to this whole thing now is like GA. Yeah. All this GA stats and all this. Oh, don't get me started again. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like to be fair, I'll give you this one. Right. I will give you that. You'll watch the player and you've seen him in the flesh. So I will. You know what? I'll give you that one. You know what I mean?
Under 17s England, you said you saw him at, didn't you?
Yeah. So I'm not. You know what? I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one because, watching him and assessing him from that point, I can't really argue with you there. To be honest with you, I'll give you that one. Don't get used to it though. Yeah. Don't get used to it. Me agreeing with you, but yeah, I'll give you that one.
Go on, Charlie, because you're going to come in. Yeah, go on.
No, I said I watched it with his dad. I was sitting next to his dad. I had a chat with him too. So That was a fun experience. Andy Gray played 51 appearances for Leeds in Premier League.
I wanted to
bring up his. Go on.
Oh.
Now
I want to do the stats thing. The thing.
Yeah, bring up stats.
Yeah, the thing that Mr. Box Office hates.
No, that's right. You know I love you regardless, bruv. You know, do your thing.
Yeah, no, it's all right. You don't spoil yourself, bro. Come on, man. We do this long enough. Come on, bro. We do what we do, man. Look.
Yeah, exactly. I love you.
Here we are.
It's all love. It's all love, bro. You know.
It's all love, brother. It's all right. It's all right. It's cool. Here we have Archie Gray. At the time, obviously, he was quoted as 18 million, but yeah, we know that he's gone for 25 million, I believe, plus 5 million add-ons each season, depending on his performances, etc., how many appearances he makes, blah blah blah. He's 1.87 meters, so he's 6'2". He's currently 18. His birthday was in March, so that's when he turned 18. So predominantly that season, as Charlie was saying, he predominantly played that season as a 17-year-old. But this guy had played for the England under-21s and represented England at under 18s and other levels as well. And just to go on further, a lot of teams were looking at him. So Manchester United were looking at him. Chelsea was looking at him. Liverpool were looking at him. And he was heavily linked with Borussia Dortmund. And he had a decision to make whether he was going to go over to Germany, but decided to wait it out and to see what offers he could get over here, because Leeds were in trouble in terms of financial problems. You know, they've had financial problems in the past, back in our day, Box Office, when they almost went into liquidation. So they're no strangers to it, and they knew they had to sell one of their players. So Brentford obviously came in for him, and then he said he wanted to hold out a little bit longer and wait it out. And he asked Leeds to reject Brentford's offer, and that's what allowed us to come in. And he spoke to Ange Postecoglou, and that's what convinced him that he was going to get, the deserved time. But yeah, here's some of the metrics. So some of the positions he's played, and this is from not just SofaScore, but it's also from Transfer Market, and you can see the big circle.
Outstanding weaknesses. They're trying to troll us now, aren't they? Come on. You must have a weakness.
Oh no, we'll get there, bro. Don't worry. We'll see what happens. So the positions there, you can see he's played as a right back, a defensive mid, and a centre mid predominantly. He's played in a 4-2-3-1. This is a graphic from when he played against Chelsea. He was playing on the left-hand side as an 8 there. At Stamford Bridge, where he caught everyone's eye, and that was his heat map as well of last season, predominantly shown on the right-hand side. As I said before, their captain, their right back, was injured, so he had to fill in, and he did quite a good job by the looks of it. Now, here's some of the stats. So if you look at his shot creations and his goals, that's where the weakness lies. According to the stats at the moment, in that first season, he didn't demonstrate. This is as a midfielder. So this is at the time, because there's two different stats. I've got one. This is the midfielder one, and then I've got the one that's the right back stat. So this is the midfielder. Shot creation actions is quite low. Non-penalty goals and assists there. If you can see my cursor, is quite low. Assist again, quite low. Shots total, etc. Passes attempted. So he's not really passing a lot. I wouldn't say that's a weakness. I'd just say the style of player he is. If you look at your doggy's not really a passer. He's more of a ball carrier, more of a dribbler than someone like a Porro. Porro's more of a passer, more of a crosser, switch of play, through balls, etc. So if I'm looking at passes attempted, he could work on passing it more. But when he does pass completion is quite high, 90 percentile, as you can see there, 82.8% of his passes. Progressive passing as well,
we can't
over
see the
50%.
Stats, we can't see the stats.
It's on the right-hand side. You can't see that where my cursor is?
No, can't see the cursor.
This cursor.
See the heat map, and I see a picture of Archie Gray. I don't see any of his stats.
I'm a little bit in front then. Hold on. Can you see that now?
Yeah, we see it now. Yeah.
Bingo. Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. So mine was a bit behind. That's weird. All right, so I'll just go into it because I'm slightly ahead. And I've done it from the full back. I've done it from a midfielder's point of view, and I'll just say that in terms of progressive carries, he's elite, not elite, but he's in that type of top bracket, and successful take-ons and progressive passes received and tackling as well. It's really, those are his strengths at the moment. I'm gonna move on to. I don't know if you can see. Can you see the goals and assists? Can you see that metric?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's bring it back a bit because I can't see it now. Goals and assists. Let's bring it back. Yeah. So goals and assists. He got 2 goals. Two assists last season. Compared to Kobe Mano and Sarr and Wharton. I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, Wharton got 8 GA goals and assists combined, and Papa Sarr got 6 goals and assists combined. Kobe Mino got 4 goals and assists combined, compared to Archie Gray. So that's what he needs to work on. Here's some of his goals from his England game. Here's one in a lead shirt when he kind of rides that challenge and gets into the box, puts into the back of the net. Good goal there. Here's some of his assists. There he is on the half turn, able to find a through ball. Great vision to find a player there. And here's some of his possession stats. He attempts a lot of take-ons, more than Mano, more than Wharton, more than Papa Sarr. He's got a better percentage on take-ons. In terms of carries as well, that's his strengths. He's better than Wharton, he's better than Sarr, and he's better than Mano. Although this is at the championship level, I'm just saying against player for player, he's got a better tech. There he is, shielding the ball with his body, using the outside of his boot, treading on it, looking after it, putting it on the outside, on the half turn, physical, using his big frame to help protect the ball, and also putting a cross at the end of it. Here he is against Chelsea, protecting the ball, taking the ball out. Here he is almost like a 6, taking off the goalkeeper, able to protect the ball. And you have to be very brave to do this type of play if you're receiving in those tight spaces. You can see that Papa Sarr's done that, Basuma's done that, Bentacle's done that, and they've all had a trouble in taking the ball off the goalkeeper, of the fullback. Here he is again, protecting the ball, using his body to feint, to shield, to have good balance, using his left foot and his right foot. His first touch is good. He's able to get himself out of trouble. You can see he's press resistant in tight spaces, and he's got good decision making as well. Not only has he got strength and balance, but he's good eye for a pass, so he knows when to kind of release the ball, steps on it, treads on it, protects it. And again, having a player of this type of ilk, rather than like a Gallagher, you've got someone that's got technically gifted, able to hold on to it. I think a problem of last season was that we were getting the ball and we weren't able to hold on to the ball, especially against Chelsea. I remember that game where we kept losing the ball in midfield and we wouldn't carry the ball forward. This guy's very brave, takes the ball forward, does a little V back, and he's able to do that as well. Don't know if you can see the passing metrics here. There's a passing metric I've got up, and the passing metrics show that. I can't find it. Hold on. Let's bring it back a bit. The passing metrics show that he needs to work, attempt a lot more passes. Hold on, it's coming up here in a second. So yeah, the passing metrics that he has, if he can work on attempting more passes, then he would work really well. But yeah, against Wharton, Papa Sarr, Kobe Mano, he's completed 1,599 passes, and he's attempted 1,931 passes. And yeah, compared to Wharton and Sarr, Mano, he's got like the best metrics out of all those midfielders there. Here he is carrying that ball, passing the ball in between the lines, over the top, through balls over the top again, down the line, down channels, into space, little balls into the box. Showing great awareness, great vision to able to find those balls, even in the attacking third, the progressive third. He's making those balls into those players, into those positions, and that's what you need from more or less a 6. And also as a fullback, an inverted fullback, what you see Porro do, switching the play, getting balls over the top, getting balls into dangerous areas, kind of putting us onto the front foot. Here's some of his goal creation actions and some of his pass types. You can see Oli Wharton has more crosses than him. In terms of crosses, in terms of types of passing, but he's better than Sarr, he's better than Manu. Here are some of his crosses as well into the box. He's got quite good accuracy as well, gets his foot underneath it, finds a low ball as well. Defensive actions, in terms of tackling, he's actually quite decent in terms of tackling as well. He's able to win the ball back, and he's only second to Wharton in that front. Wharton's got a higher tackle win rate, but more than Maino and better than Papa Matasara as well. So again, it looks it's a good look for that particular position if he's doing better numbers than what our current young player is doing, Papa Matasara, that everybody loves. But here you see him here, front-footed, winning the ball back. Very good in terms of pressing. That's what Ange Postecoglou likes, winning the ball high up, turning it into a chance. Again, in the defensive third, helping out, and the attacking third, helping out. And he's not afraid to get like his boots muddy, get his shirt muddy as well. Going to ground there, winning the ball, good recovery challenges there. Able to win the ball back for his teammates, work hard. And his long-legged frame is able to get back and help a lot of his teammates. You see that with Sarr covering those channels. He's done that as well quite a bit. In terms of take-ons, again, as I said before, he attempts more than Porro as a fullback, more than Gertruda that we were linked with. And I put Conor Bradley, who's a good fullback for Liverpool. He's done almost twice as many, even though he's played a lot more games than Conor Bradley, I admit. But again, his success rate is really high in terms of winning that ball back. Carries, again, he's really good at, and it shows that in the data metrics. Crossing as well, second to Porro. But again, shot creation actions per 90, he needs to be able to work on that because he's at the bottom of that one. So that was a little feature of the player that we're getting. So you can say that we can see the weaknesses, the things that he needs to work on, and things that he's quite good at. So for me, I look at him as a very strong ball carrying player, a player that's really good at dribbling and taking his man on. Passing range is good, but he just needs to attempt a lot more if he's going to get to that next level, in my opinion.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Just by what I've noticed and what the videos I've watched too. When you spoke about all these good stuff, the stuff that he can do for the team, is it just me? But most of the good stuff from the video clips that you've shown, and I'll be quite interested to get Charlie's take on this. They're of him at right back, not as a central midfielder.
The beginning part of the video, I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, but I saw the little bit. But when you look at most of the good bits, and even from the videos that I've seen on YouTube and whatnot, and even the stuff that you've shown tonight, majority of the good bits that you will show, there'll be 2 or 3 clips from midfield, but most of it is from when he played right back.
Because he's actually played most of the games, as you said before at the start of the show, as a right back.
But this is my worrying thing. Yeah, so this is my worrying thing.
To show that, but if you saw the start of the video, it showed a lot of the clips when he was in the midfield, even before he was in the Championship. You can see how he was taking the ball off the goalkeeper, taking it from deep in that kind of.
But that's going to be, but like you just said, when he was in the Championship is what's more important. If I'm being honest, what's more important?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Right, and all the good clips that you see of him going forward with the ball, crossing and whatnot like that, it's of him playing right back. But there's very minimal good clips out there that people are showing of him actually playing in central midfield, unless it's for the under-17s or the under-18s.
The way I look at it is in tight spaces. I think that's the key metric for me. So even if he's at right back, he's surrounded by 2 or 3 players. So whether he's playing in the midfield, I know in midfield is slightly different when you're in that position.
It's going to be well different for us.
He's able to move onto his right foot and to his left foot really quickly. He's able to shift the ball really quickly, even against that Chelsea game when he was playing in midfield.
Yeah, because that's the only clip that I can see that anyone has shared.
Yeah, he's able to kind of maneuver that ball from left to right and drop a shoulder and shield his body and protect the ball and then carry the ball up the pitch and be brave. So that's why I'm saying his strengths to me from the stats and from what I can see look like his ball carrying ability and his ability to kind of beat a man and dribble in that midfield. But I hear what you're saying.
But that will be from the inverted right back role, right? Not the actual centre midfield role.
I personally think.
But my question is here because we've already got Porro. Yeah. So this is like the whole signing becomes a bit more like, hold on, what's going on here? Is he coming in to be that midfielder as everyone expects him to be? But actually, when you look at all the clips of him everywhere that you've seen, even for Leeds and even the stats, it's him playing right back. Now, if he's come here, if all these good stats and he's going to be a good right inverted wing back, and that's 30 what, nearly 40 odd million. Okay, forget, Rodon's included in this, so it's only 25 when we actually think about it, right? But is it going to be the case of that if he's going to be, his best position is actually going to be right back, not a central midfielder?
For young players, it's better to kind of bleed them in as a fullback, as opposed to, because that midfield position, if they get it wrong at that age, then it can like ruin their like progression or their ability to fit into a squad. Do you know what I'm saying? So him,
You're talking like Gareth Barry. Remember Gareth Barry at Aston Villa? He was a wing back. He was a fullback, and then he. Sorry to interrupt you guys because you were having a good back and forth. But you know, with Gareth Barry, he was a fullback, and he then he grew into the midfield role, didn't he? So is that similar to what you're saying?
I'm saying for the first maybe 4 to 6 months, I wouldn't be surprised if he was started off as a right back, and then they slowly like moved him into the midfield. Do you know what I'm saying? Or you saw him in certain games, like Europa games. He might start as a midfielder. So I could see certain games where they slowly transition him into a position rather than start him straight away. Sarr was different. I know Sarr had a few games underneath him in League One, so he was a different prospect to what Archie Gray is going to be. But I just think rather than rushing him and putting him in the 6 or the 8 straight away, I think as a right back, maybe in Europa, they might use him or utilize him in that position and make him invert, and then he has that chance to kind of flourish and show what he can do in that position. And Porro will probably sit on the bench. In those group games, he'd probably travel, but then we might.
So my next question though is, okay, so, and actually before I get on to the next question, Charlie, wanted to get your opinion on what I just said about the whole right back situation in centre midfield. Obviously, when you look at the clips online, obviously you've seen him play. Is he better as a right back, or would you say he's better as a centre midfielder?
Midfield, 100%. But this season he hasn't played 13 full 90 minutes in midfield. He's had a couple 16-minute, 70-minute games. And since Ayling has been injured, he had to play in right back. And at the start of the season, he started off well, putting good passes, putting good through, but he still had to like get into the team. He played right back, was an amazing dribbler, did all this kind of stuff. And then when he played against Chelsea, he was, well, basically, look, at the start of the season, he was still like integrating into the team because he played like 2-3 games before, wasn't on his best. He had some good, he was good at dribbling first, like 10 games, good dribbling, good passer, but Gray never really was an attacking minded player. And at the start, he didn't have those special moments that you would see in like a clip. He'd have those good passes, just play good, defensively stable, just play this stable game. You know what I mean? He wasn't playing this flashy everything because he wanted to keep his position. Once he went to right back, he played this 15 games. He started to feel more into the groove, did more of his flashy things. That's why you see more of the special moments in right back position instead of the centre mid position, because he wasn't playing. He was literally in the lead squad. That was his. When he started, he played 3-4 games, and before that, he just played like the last 5 minutes when he was 16. It was never that he played full games, this, that. So he was a bit more safe. He started off safe, and in the end, he just started doing his thing.
So my next question was: so you said about obviously him playing Europa League football this year, yeah. My question to the panel is: are we not going to be taking the Europa League seriously this year? Because personally, for me, do I want an inexperienced player going in to play in a cup competition at right back in a competition that everyone says potentially Spurs could win? And this is, and I'm looking, how are we going to play it this year?
Don't forget, we've got 8 games. We're not going to play against the best of the best. We're going to play against like a second division or like a third place, Belgian team or something. So,
but can Spurs? But I know what you're saying. But can Spurs really afford when they go play against? Because like we went and played against Mura, right? Got beat. Can Spurs really afford to be going to these second-rate places, right, and affording to play their second-string team when, let's be honest, most of our first team are not good enough to be playing in those games.
Yeah.
So, do you get what I mean? Because obviously they went out to Fulham last year, right? You might get a Man City in the cup, where you have to play So the Europa League is probably the best chance where we're not going to face a Premier League out. We're not going to go to a Premier League club. And it's more of a case of, are we going to take the risk where we're going to be playing the Archie Grays, the Bergvals? These are the people that without experience. Are we going to blood them into most of the Europa League games and not take that seriously? Is my question.
I think we should first see how he's doing in pre-season, of course, and all this stuff.
Of course,
Because
yes, of course.
we can say all this stuff, say he'll be an amazing player, but if he's doing crap in pre-season, all of that I've said now has no value. if he's being an amazing player in pre-season, but I think, yeah, of course, we need to experiment more, because last season we had all these youngsters. We've got Jamie Donnelly, Mikey Moore, all these players. We've got to experiment. I know we should take it serious, but some games, like the last 30 minutes, just play some youngsters, because last season we did not have enough youngsters playing. It feels like we've got all this talent on the bench, all this talent in the U21, U6, like all this stuff, and how bad it sounds. We should be letting loose in the last 30 minutes and playing an Archie Gray for 40 minutes or 30 minutes in the last minute of a game if we're winning. I think there's no negatives about that. And even if we start him for a game because he's had a good run up, then we won't see it as a risk because he's been playing well. I think it's just how you see it I think we should just assess how he plays and then start him or not. I think we just shouldn't throw him in, see how he does. You know what I mean? He has to show what he can do first.
Alex, look, you've already had your opinion on Archie Gray, but where are you sitting on this? Where do you feel like these players can be played and fill in?
Well, if we're putting all this stock into them, they've got to compete. I say again, like I'm hearing the same words again, cover, and our backups, and I'm sitting there saying, well, they're not backups. You're here to compete. If you're going to start making a big deal about Bergvall and Archie Gray, we need to be nice with them. Sorry, no. If you want to make yourself known, make yourself known. I'm sorry. You can't be making a big deal about these players, and then all of a sudden now we can't. Oh, we got to be a bit soft with them now. No. Let's see how they do it. Let's see how we do it. You've got to compete. You've got to compete. That's the way I look at it. The only problem I have at the moment is, and I think Lee's made a very. I don't really look at the chat because I make a show out of it. I'm box office, but the point is that Lee's just made a very good point, saying we ain't got the experience to nurture these young players in. And I've said that before. The players that are in there at the moment are not nurturing, are not good enough to nurture our players in. Like I said, we've got too many nice players. And that's what worries me at the moment. That's what worries me. I've heard this guy's got he's got a bit of an attitude. He's got a bit of a mentality. What mentality after one season in Championship? Please don't tell me that. Again, Leeds didn't go up in the playoffs. So what mentality did he have there? Didn't win anything there, didn't he? So again, to answer your question, he's there to compete. Yeah, if you're going to make a big deal about this is the next best thing since sliced bread, you're competing. So Poro, he's competing for Poro, and that's it. It's not nice guys anymore because you don't win nothing with nice things. That's the thing. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be straight up with you. I'm sorry. I'm going to be straight up with you. And if you don't like it, sorry, lump it. Don't care. Back to you guys. I'm done.
Charlie, you was going to say something.
Attitude.
He's
got a footballer's attitude. He's been grown up. He does not have a bad mentality. He's not a nice player. He knows where he has to be, when he has to be unkind and when he has to be nice. If your dad, your granddad, and your great uncle's been a football player, you're the only thing you know is football.
Where was that attitude against it in the playoffs, bro? Where was that attitude in the playoff final?
Oh my God, Alex, imagine putting an 18-year-old to fault for not winning a playoff final, who is playing as a right back, which isn't his primary position, where he can't impact the game as much as he could do in his normal position. So you're giving the fault to somebody who's playing not in the right position. Is 18, has a great mentality. You literally saw he was standing in the middle, handing people out, telling people what to do. He has the mentality to do this, and you can't put somebody to blame for not winning if the team isn't up to standard.
But bro, top players top players get you through over that line.
Okay,
Sorry,
but then
top
into Miami.
players,
No,
if
listen.
we're gonna start making a big deal about players, top players get you over that line.
But then Inter Miami should be winning every game because they've got Messi in the team, but they ain't doing that because Messi is the one great player in their team. It's not as if because Messi's there they're winning every game. One player does not change everything. You need.
I'm sorry, I don't agree with that.
You need listen. You need a good team mentality. Like we've seen it
You need a good
everywhere.
team, yeah, but the top players influence you to get over that line, right? If we're gonna make a big deal about this player, right? He didn't get. They flopped. They flopped towards the end of the season, Leeds. So where was his mentality there? Sorry, I'm sorry. I've got to be honest. I'm being honest with you. If this is a ruthless career, right? This is ruthless career, ruthless in life, right? You're either winners or losers in life, right? And you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't get the job done, you're getting sacked in the morning. That's what you get done in the cells, and that's it. Because you ain't got your cells, mate. So I'm sorry. Life is hard, and that's it. So I'm sorry. We can be soft how much you want.
But I'm not being. It's
like,
easy. No, listen. It's easy to be so direct for everything, but blaming an 18-year-old and / 17-year-old kid.
But you're making people are making a big deal about this guy. It's the best thing since sliced bread, though, bro. So
I'm not
based
saying
on
that, but I'm saying he's bloody good, and you can't blame an 18-year-old on a whole squad's performance where there's a captain who is 25 who is bound to be a captain. If an 18-year-old tries to be a captain, tries to do his best, not everyone's going to listen to him. You can be the best player in the world, but if you're 18, you're not going to be taken as serious. The players didn't take him as serious because he started there. If you've seen Leeds, you know that, but you haven't. So everything is basing off something you've heard before. You haven't watched any of the Leeds. You're just saying, oh, the mentality.
Yeah, but you're telling me no. But you're telling me right now. I've gave you credit that you watched the guy. Yeah, cool. But basing on everyone's reaction, saying this is the top player, this is this is that, this is this. Based on what you're saying, then if he's a top player, why did Leeds not go up?
Okay,
why did Leeds? Leeds were top of the table. Leeds were top of the table, right? Top of the table.
Hold on, Charlie. I'll get Alex now. Alex, are you not a person who says, I don't usually go on stats, yeah? I go to the stadium and I watch the person.
Yes. But hold
on. So why now are you now flip-flopping against Charlie because he's actually saying he's watched him instead of basing it on a stat because he didn't get through to the playoffs?
No, I'm not saying that.
You are. You're not basing it off something you watched. Did you watch the playoffs?
No, I didn't watch the playoffs.
So Alex, what's your point here? Because you sit there and say the whole of last season you kept saying I go to the stadium, I watch him, I don't blame it on stats, right? But Charlie has come here and said he watched him. But you're totally dismissing his point because of a playoff, which is a stat, because of he didn't get through.
Well,
so what are we doing?
Point, but the point I'm making is the point I'm making is by the fact that everyone's going over the top about this guy, saying that he's this and this and this and this, right? He still didn't get through.
Charlie, but you're based it off, like you said at the beginning of this. You're not basing it off what Charlie said. You're basing it off of what Alistair Gold said about generational, what Leeds fans are saying. But actually, Charlie's come out and said, no, he's a good player. He's this, that, and the other. He's not once said he can't answer for the people what they're saying. He's only saying he's a good player. He's what we need now.
Yeah, I'm just saying that my argument is that he's got a lot more to prove, and that's it for me. That's what I'm saying. And that's it. Because if we're going to make a big deal about these players, I'm sorry, but it's not. Regardless whether it's not his fault, right? And that's now for the people who look up, who his entourage around him to calm it, to make sure he's grounded and stuff like that, and that's it. And don't get overhyped himself, right? Especially going into the changing room of Tottenham Hotspur, like I said, and I don't think that changing room is the best changing room he's going into. By the way, like I said before, right? For him to grow, right? And I've got about my question marks on Ange Postecoglou as a coach, and those coaching staff at the moment. I'm still got a lot of question marks on the new coaching staff. I'll tell you that for a fact. Yeah, right. So for me, I'm sorry, basing on what everyone else is saying, if he's that good, he would have got up in the league. He would have gone up. Yeah, I gave Charlie credit. Yes, he's watched him. I'll give him that. I've gave him credit already. Yeah, so I'm not going back on what I've said. No,
Okay, but box office. Okay, so I'll give you another example. You said Carrick was a good player.
Yeah,
Carrick got relegated with West Ham.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but he came back, didn't he?
Did that make? Yeah, but he had to. We bought him from the Championship. So, but he still got relegated from the Premier League. Does that mean he's a terrible player?
Well, no, but the fact is, he did still come back. But how many years was that though, bro? This guy's only had one season in Championship.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not sitting here going, he's generational, this, that, and the other. I'm sitting there. I'm gonna wait and see. I'm not gonna sit there and go judge him now. And look, I know what Spurs are like, right?
Elton Cockerell, back in your box, so get my argument straight. You know what I mean? Absolute rubbish. Anyway, moving on. Do you get what I mean, though? Are you understanding what I'm trying to tell you? Because you're saying one thing, but then when it comes to Archie Gray, you're using a complete different argument. I mean, honestly, listen.
I haven't even introduced Alan yet because you've been going on for so long.
What do you mean I'm going on for so long? You cheeky little man. You cheeky little man.
That's what you get for last year on Spurs, mate. That's what you get.
Oh, cheeky little man. Anyway, moving on. See, this is what I've got to put out with you, this little Marlon, yeah? Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It's like, I don't see this attitude on Last Word on Spurs, by the way. I don't see this on Last Word on Spurs. You know what I mean? Yeah, but anyway, moving on. But the point is, listen, I gave Charlie credit that he's watched the player. That's fine. Right, but I'm just saying at the moment, right, he's got a lot to prove, and that's it for me. But the way everyone's going on about him, he might be prime Messi the way everyone's going on about him. And as far as I'm concerned, he's had one season in the Championship.
I do get that.
And this is the thing. You know me, Marlon. You know me, Marlon, and you know me, Ashmatic. Right? I ain't gonna go over the top. Right? And before anybody says I'm shouting, I've got a loud voice, so get over yourself for goodness sake. You know what I mean? Honestly, some of these Tottenham fans in the chat are such melts. Honestly, my point. Anyway,
leave our viewers alone. You.
If they want to come from Mr. Box Office, you know, I'm just gonna eat out all day long, every single day. You know what I mean? Jay does it worse than me, bro. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. But the point is, I just need time. I need time. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Because that's what makes.
We're not blaming you for that.
2, 3 seasons, 4 seasons, 5 seasons. I'm sorry. I don't understand why we see someone for 1 season or 2 seasons at that, and then half season, and then all of a sudden now, he's world class. And the way we're talking, this guy's world class after 2, and he's only 18. What will you do when you're 18 years old?
Do you really want to know that now?
What were you doing when you were 18 years old, Ashmatic?
And so we've got a guest called Adam. How are you doing, my broski? You good?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Apologies I'm late, but I had something to do. But I did say I'd jump on when I got back. And yeah, I came in. It's never a dull show with Alex on. Let's just say that. It's never a dull show. Thanks for having me. Charlie, first time meeting you. Good to meet you, my friend.
Nice to meet you, Alan.
No, look, I've done a show yesterday about this player, and the more I thought about it, the more my decision's changing on this guy. Now, Alex, I love you, but you've sat here and hyped up Poch and Harry Kane as fantastic as that and ever. But in big moments, they've never done it for Spurs. But you put them high up. You do. So you can't then go at a youngster because he's never done it as well. When you go, you laud up Poch and Kane when they've gone missing in big games as well. So I think you've got to be consistent with what you're saying. But I'm not here to have it. My view on Archie Gray's changed because what did we hear from Ange at the end of last season, towards the end of last season? Next season, I want to be challenging for the title. Now, whoever we bring in this summer is going to be included in that thing that these are players brought in to challenge. So if they don't get enough game time or it doesn't go well for them, that's how fans will judge these players. Now, is it necessarily good for us to judge this 18-year-old at that level? No, but this is why I'm saying, for me, there's a disconnect between what's being said at the end of last season to who we're signing. Now, from what I've seen of Archie Gray, have I seen every game of He's no? Is there a player there? Absolutely. Has he got ability? Yes. Has he got huge potential. He absolutely does. But will that equate to him coming in, being a main starter in the midfield? If not, then he's bought for the future. But how can we be challenging for a title if all we're doing is buying a problematic attacker or in Timo Werner, who we re-signed, buying a youngster who isn't going to get the game time? It's what I'm saying. This is why fans, and I think it's unfair on the youngster, but it's not his fault. It's the club giving two different messages for me. Now, I don't think
with two signings, yeah, you're right. Two signings giving two different messages. And as a fan base, we're looking at it going, actually, which way are you trying to go here?
Yeah, it's confusing for me. So I'm not going to, although I don't agree with the way we've started in this transfer market, I'm going to wait until the end, until the result. But I'm going to give my opinion on each individual person. But look, I don't think Archie Gray is going to come in and take over from Bissouma, Sarr, Bentancur. I don't think he's going to go straight and do that. Will he get game time? I'm hoping he does, because I want to see what he can do in the Premier League. Because as good as he was in the Championship, you then need to make that upgrade. You need to step up and show you can do it in the Premier League. If you can do that, that's fantastic. But I just don't know if, first of all, he can, because he's unproven. People in the comment section that says he will smash it in the Premier League, he's going to do this and the other. We can't say that because it's an unknown quantity. You hope he can do it. If you're sitting here saying we get an 18-year-old who could be fantastic for Spurs and show and have him for a long period of time with Bergvall that's got all this huge potential. If these two click and these two are as good as we think they are, our midfield set for the foreseeable future, fantastic, brilliant. But we have to wait and see. So fans that are coming in saying that he's going to do this and all that, relax, calm down, let the player do that. People are saying he's just going to be a flop on that. We don't know. My problem is with Ange, if he isn't coming straight into the first team, we've seen last season that Ange doesn't give youth all that much of a chance. There was times in the season when we were 3 or 4-0 up in games against Newcastle notably, and he waited until the 92nd minute to bring on, who is it, Donnelly? And stuff like that. And he done it against Man City right at the end as well, where he gives 1 or 2 minutes. Now I'm thinking to myself, if we're buying these youngsters and you're not going to start, where's he going to get the game time? Because Ange hasn't, if anyone can sit here and say they believe Ange will give these youngsters a chance if they're not in the starting 11 on like regular minutes on a continual basis, we haven't seen the evidence of that. So this is what I'm saying. It seems, although we're buying potential for the future, we've been told we're challenging now. And although like we're buying youngsters, we see that the youngsters don't generally get given a chance. You might point out Doue as the odd person and Sarr, but for me, there's just a disconnect in the message from what Spurs are telling fans for next season compared to what we're doing. So this is why I'm saying I'll wait to the end of the season, transfer window, to see if it makes sense in the end. But at the moment, I'm lost on what the club's trying to do compared to who we're bringing in. It just doesn't make sense to me at the moment.
So I'm going to leave Archie Gray there because I think everybody's done that to death. Right. But what I wanted to talk about next is the number 9. Right. It's going to be an issue. It looks like we're linked with, well, there's 3 on the list. Yeah. The guy from Sporting Lisbon, I can't remember his name now. I've forgotten his name. What's his name again, Ash?
Guy Correz.
Correz. Openda and Tony. Yeah. Those are the main 3 that seem to be coming up quite a lot in the media. Ash, talk to me about this number 9 situation.
Yeah, where do I start, man? We're linked with the 3 players, as you said. Openda being one of them. I did a small video on them, and then we can discuss it from there. So I'm going to bring him up. Have you guys seen Openda? No? Yeah? No?
Yeah. He was the guy who came on the other night for Belgium, and did he get the assist or something?
Yeah, he got the assist. Let me bring up his video now. It's not playing. I don't know why it's not playing, but I'll try again.
Yeah, try again. It's disappeared off the screen.
It disappeared. Oh, it doesn't want to work now. Damn it. I'll send it to myself again. But yeah, we're linked with Openda, Guy Correz, and Tony. Now, people will prefer Tony because we've seen
Isn't one a pipe dream, which is Correz? Openda is, if in reality, that's probably who we can get, and Tony is a last resort.
I think with Guy Correz, Arsenal are looking at him. I'm looking at many Arsenal streams at the moment, and all the Arsenal streams at the moment, I can see they're linked. They're just talking about Guy Correz. That's the player that they want. It's around 85 mil, roughly around that price tag. You know, Sporting Lisbon, they don't really let players off easy. You know what I mean? We had to deal with Pedro Porro. That was a hard one to get out the line. So with Openda, I don't think he'll be cheap either. But Chelsea are interested in him as well. So it's not like a clear run. And then Tony, obviously, Tony's got the controversy around him because of his betting past. I think when he did the bets, though, he was how old? Was he young when he did the betting? Or was he an older? Because I'm pretty sure he was like early into his career when he did it.
Who, Tony?
Yeah.
He bet the whole time he's been there.
Oh, I thought it was when he was young.
No, I'm pretty sure he done it at Brentford as well.
Okay. So yeah, there's a whole character, like, is he right character for Spurs? Because I think he got caught with a girl saying Brentford shit. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, raw. If he comes to Spurs, is he gonna say Spurs is shit? You know what I'm trying to say? Then he got caught. Then he went to a podcast, and then he went on the podcast and said he wanted to play for Arsenal, and if it wasn't Arsenal, he wants to play for Liverpool. So I think a lot of fans, he's kind of rubbed them off the wrong way. But if you look at the player, maybe not last season, because last season he came in 6 months after his ban, and like his numbers weren't really prolific compared to the season before. And that's where most fans are kind of looking at him saying, right, he's done it in the Premier League. We think he's the right fit. He's the closest thing to what Kane was doing in terms of a centre forward, in terms of profile. He's a man that can hold the ball up, play it into the channels, play in the wide players, or in the box. He's just got that knack of being a centre forward. He can be a target man. He can score goals with his head, or he can finish in the box, get in the end of things. He's just got that kind of killer instinct that you want for a striker, for number 9. Guy Correz, for me, he's that kind of, out of all of them, he seems like a player that, in terms of taking on his man, beating players, dribbling, he's the best out of all of them. Like, in terms of like getting on the shoulder, last man, he sits that type of profile, that kind of wide forward, almost like a Ollie Watkins style striker, compared to like Tony's more of a old school number 9. Do you know what I'm saying? And he got Openda. Out of those 3, he's the striker. So he's the one that kind of getting on the end of things. You saw him against Man City in the Champions League. He scored 2 goals there. He's got 4 goals in Champions League, so he looks quite impressive. He's got 28 goals this season. So and the Bundesliga is like the closest thing, I feel, to maybe the Premier League in terms of the pace of it and the physicality. They play things on the floor quite quick compared to other leagues that are a bit more slower, a bit more technical. Apparently, Jonathan David, though, I know people talk about Jonathan David. Apparently, I've heard that we're not looking at him as much. And Openda, Guy Correz, and Tony are the 3 we are actually looking at. That's why I didn't mention David. But David, when I did look at him, obviously not in this tournament, it was in the World Cup, I think it was. He just looked very weak and flimsy, in my opinion, when I actually watched him. But he has been doing well for the last 2 seasons in Ligue 1 in France. So yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, I'll get everyone else's thoughts, and I'm trying to find this video. I'll try to load it up.
Charlie, because I know you got to go. I'll start with you. Ideally, front three, number 9 wise, out of all the names that we mentioned, or is there someone else that you'd think that would be ideal for that position?
I don't really want Gyökeres, just the way to say that. I think he's been good for 1 season, so yeah, he has proved. I mean, listen, he's a 1 season wonder. He's a 1 season wonder. Yeah, he hasn't done anything in Coventry. He was at Coventry for 2 years. Been at Sporting for a year. Had an amazing season. But maybe he's the system player. You never know. I want to see him one more season, because putting £100 million on a player that has had 1 good season in an 8-year career is for me. It's a bit too much.
Technically too, because he had 1 good season at Coventry. The second that season he had before he left the Sporting Lisbon, he did score over 20 odd goals in the Championship. If we're looking at and this is going back to the whole Archie Gray situation, right? And going to what Box Office said, if they're doing it in the Championship, but he's gone to Portuguese League and done it too.
But like, the difference is with Archie Gray, my man's 18, played 1 full season, won Premier EFL Young Player, won all these achievements, been playing every game, all this stuff. And Gyökeres was how old then? How old is he now? He's 26, so he was 24 then. It's a complete different story for the two.
Just
You
to
know what I
say,
mean?
Dele Alli did the same thing, by the way, his first season as well. By the way, just to remind people as well, just to make it known. By the way,
Yeah, but Dele Alli had like all these mental problems. Dele Alli was a complete different story. Like he played very well for the first season, but his mental problems just took a toll on him.
I don't want to get into the mental thing because that's not. I can't get into that. But my point is the football side of things. It's the same thing, and that I'm sorry. You know what I mean? And I don't know what Alan was talking about earlier. Nonsense he was talking about earlier. Just to put that on the pun, just to say that. But I'm just saying that Dele Alli did the same thing. But like I say, I'm not. I didn't want to interrupt, but I just had to say that. But I do give you credit, Charlie. You've watched him, and I'll give you that. I'll give you that one. And I have to. I'll shut up now. Sorry.
Go on, Charlie. So before you go, because I don't want to keep Charlie too long.
I don't mind. David? I don't mind him, but striker market is so small. I'd like you know, I prefer just to get like a Chiesa or something, but that sounds so weird because Chiesa is so what's it called? He's creative, got all this stuff. So I can't talk, man. It's 12 o'clock here, and I'm bloody on 2 hours of sleep. So he's bloody creative, all this stuff, and getting a good striker. Guys, I'm dead. I'm seriously dead. I'm bloody tired. I'm in the middle of my test week. I've just been studying all day, and this is just getting too late for me now.
No problem, Charlie. Charlie, thank you for coming on. Just let everybody know where they can find you and whatnot before you go.
Yeah. Charlie Spurs and 17 haven't posted for the last couple of months, just studying all this stuff. Hope I can come on the show more often, guys. Really enjoyed it, and have a good night, guys.
Thank you. I'm going to go to Alan next because I don't really want to go to box office yet. Alan, where do you sit on the front three? Well, number 9. I keep calling it front three, but it's number 9 at the moment that we're looking at.
Yeah. So for me, with the number 9, out of all the people that you've named, they're none of the ones that I wanted. I wanted Santiago Jimenez. The way Spurs play, we need somebody in the box that's very quick-footed, can turn on a dime, find the shot. And obviously can finish very quickly within little room. That's how we play. We make it very tight up top, and there's not much room apart from Richarlison where you could whip the ball in, which we don't. For me, you need that type of striker, but it looks like we're not going for him. So you then ask me who out of all the people that we're now linked with will we get? The ones you've suggested. Openda, I get why people want him. Very good finisher. You can finish with both feet. He's good with his head as well. I want him. I think if we're going down the route of how we're going to play, I would take him over Tony if we're going to continue playing this way. But if we are going to start whipping more balls in, or like if we're going to buy a physical player in Tony up front, you need to be able to hit him. You need to be able to keep the width, whether it be Porro or Doue, or whether it's the wingers that hold the width and you have midfielders that push up and support the striker. You need to be able to hit a man like Tony in the air. We don't play like that. Whether we change, if we do change that, we do bring in Tony, we have to change and play to his strengths. But if we don't, then the right person to come in from the people named is Openda. But knowing Spurs, we'll probably stick with Richarlison. So, we'll see. But I think if we continue playing how we did last season, Openda, if we're going to change the way we play, we're going to play or bring in Tony, you have to be able to play to his physicality and his strengths. So I would go that route, but just depends on what Spurs do. But at the moment, like I said, I don't see the thought process behind who they're bringing in. So I'm just going to sit on the fence with this one and say, I don't know who we're going to get in, but yeah, we'll see.
Well, you want Jimenez. You want your Jimenez is your guy.
Yeah, Jimenez would be who I would ideally want, but I don't think we're going to get him now. Cool. We were linked, but it's not gone quiet, so I don't think it's going to happen.
Before you carry on, Ash, now that Deji's here, I'm going to let you two carry on. I've got to be up early in the morning. But box office, Alan, thank you for coming on. Deji, as always, my boy.
We all love you, Marlon. We all love you, Marlon. We all love you, Marlon.
I'll be back.
Even though you're a different person last word on Spurs, and I need the Marlon back. I need the Marlon back on last word on Spurs. Yeah, please
give me till September. Yeah, September when it all goes wrong, I'll be back. Back to being me mode.
Big up to you boys, yeah.
Thanks to everyone in the chat,
up,
and
big up,
also
big up.
because know that Ash, our membership is now open to the channel as well. But I'll let Ash carry on the show. And big up to everyone who's been here tonight. But cheers, laters.
Big up.
There's. All right, so guys, on that note, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. See, I did that one. I was smooth, in it. Yes. So I want to big up Deji, man. What are your thoughts on the striker outfit? What are you telling me, Mabowski?
Big up. Big up. Sorry for my late arrival. All. I haven't really been following the kind of striker news, to be honest. So I just want to. I think for me,
Tony was your guy, no?
huh?
Tony was your guy, no?
Yeah, I
You
think
got Tony the Tiger.
I think Tony can work. I think out of all the options you mentioned, I don't really know much about Openda. Gyökeres, I've seen a little bit, but I think Tony seems to be the best fit in my opinion, because the system that we play is very, very basic when you think about it. What Postecoglou wants us to do is our wingers get the ball and they got to kick the ball across the goal. Yeah. And one thing Tony is good for is putting his leg, his head, his bum, his nose on the ball, especially inside the box. So I think it would suit Tony. The other thing that we lacked was someone who could actually just hold up the ball. And it was a good reminder in that little cameo on Sunday how physical this brother is and how much of a nuisance. And, you know, Alex talks about, Mr. Box Office talks about fighters, warriors. There's a little bit of Tony that kind of does that. He's kind of a bit of a fighter. He kind of reminds me, not quite Drogba. He's nowhere near Drogba in that regard. But he is a player that defenders won't be looking forward to playing. Do you get what I'm saying? You know you've been in a battle when you've played Tony in terms of physically, you're going to feel it. He's going to jump on you. He's going to hustle you. He's going to rough you up. And I think for that basis and that basis alone, I think he could do well at our club. But in order for Tony to work, we can't just bring in Tony with the wingers that we've got. It would need an Eze and a Neto, or one of them. One of those brothers needs to come to our club if Tony is to come in. Provided one of them comes in, I think Tony could get 20 plus goals for Spurs. I think he could do a job. I really do think so. So for me, I would like to see Tottenham bring in Tony. And I think if we are ambitious, that is the sort of signing that we need to be making. I haven't heard what my bro Box Office had to say, but I'm pretty sure, because this is somebody who doesn't mince his words. He wasn't shaking his bum violently on that Archie Gray signing. And to be honest with you, I'm not shaking my bum either. How we spent 40 mil on an 18-year-old that we are unsure will start, because does he start ahead of Madders? You know, is the question. It's a bit kind of wild from our club. But what do I know? Maybe Postecoglou is seeing something in this brother that's going to take Spurs to the next level. But we've got Chelsea fans shaking their bum for Dewsbury Hall. And I'm having to remind them that Dewsbury Hall is a wedding venue. I can't shake my bum for Archie Gray. I can't lie to you. I can't shake my bum for him. So on that note, I'm just keeping it real. So, yeah, I need to see more from our club.
Hey, Box Office. Is Tony the right guy? Is he the one that's going to get Spurs shaking your bum violently?
I just need to recover from what you just said there, man.
Proposal. Hey, Dewsbury Hall.
Oh gosh! Please get me a wife. Anyway, moving on. Anyway, just thinking about it now. Honestly, I mean, I don't know Openda. Grassi's only had one season, so I mean, there's only one option for me. I'm sorry. I know he's a risk, but I just need arrogance in my team. And the thing is, though, I don't really understand people. They're saying, "Oh, he's got an attitude." Guys, Ashmatic and Deji, we know people that are arrogant, don't we? who are personal to us. We know that we know arrogant people, don't we?
Can name a few.
We've got friends that are arrogant. I think Alan, you've got some people that are arrogant. You know what I mean? You know, but I definitely know some people that are arrogant. Are not nice people. Yeah. So that's just life, because they just want to win. You know what I mean? That sometimes people they're just honest. You know, they don't like people. I mean, you've got Simon Cowell. You've got loads of people on YouTube that are not very nice people. But all of a sudden now we're all caring about their personality all of a sudden.
Do you think people are too sensitive? Like,
I think they are. I think they are too sensitive. I think that's the problem.
You think we become a bit more of a society where we're like, you can't say, you can't do that. Do you know what I mean?
Not a nice place. I think for some reason now, because football's on social media now, oh, you've got to be such a nice person. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to do. Where are we going with this? But what I'm trying to say is that like Ivan Toney is like the strikers that were back in the day, like your Teddy Sheringham's, your Andy Coles, your Vieiris, your Abramovich, your Ronaldo's. Do you see what Ronaldo did yesterday?
Cried a lot, but yeah.
It's all about him. But everyone still thinks he's world class. It's unfortunate. These are the sort of players that get you over that line, right? And I don't need to worry about him if he's missing a chance. He ain't going to feel down about it. He ain't going to cry about it. He's just going to shrug his shoulder and say, I'm Ivan Toney. I'm going to have it. Yeah? If people have a go at him and say, I'll show you, bro. I'll show you. I'll bang it in the net. And I'll go right in your face and say, what are you saying? Like Bellingham did when he scored that great goal to equalise to Slovakia. That's what you do. That's what you do. Now, I know it's a risk, but for me, we've got too many nice players in our team. I don't think we're going to get him because I think he's going to ask for too many wages. Now, I understand Tottenham can't afford to give him big wages. No. You've got to work for it, son. You've got to work for it. Yeah? Because you can get a Mourinho in him. You know what I mean? Remember West Brom, that West Brom player that went to Stoke? Look what happened to him. You know what I mean?
That would have stopped someone from coming, right? My thing is, like, Tony is for now. Tony is for now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's 29. Great. He's 29. And like Alan was saying, if we're doing the win now thing, then Tony makes sense. But if we're trying to build for the future, then maybe we need to look for someone that's a bit of a younger profile. So I'm going to talk about Openda quick because not many people know about him. I've seen him live a few times. I saw that Champions League Messi did to Man City. So that's when I started looking at him a bit more serious because that's when you judge players in the Champions League. Did they step up? And he did. He's 24 years old. He's centre forward. He's not that tall, to be fair. It's 1.77 meters. It's like 5'9", 5'10", around that height. But he scored 24 goals last season. 4 of those were Champions Leagues as well. So it's 28 goals in total last season, 7 assists. Probably could have got more assists as well if the players finished off their dinner. But yeah, his contract expires in 2028, and he played for RB Leipzig. He played for Lens. He got like 21 goals, I think, in the league before. He's played in Belgium league. He's played in the Dutch league. He's played in the French league. He's played in the German league. So he's cultured around Europe. Plays for the Belgium national side as well. Dual nationalship with Morocco as well. So as I said, 28 goals for in the Eredivisie in the Dutch league where Jimenez is. So he's got a better. Has he got a better return than Jimenez? I think he's got better returners than Jimenez there. Yeah. League One, he's had 21 goals and 24 goals in the Bundesliga just this last season. So three different leagues, and he's banging in plus 20 goals. Plays in a 4-2-2. So he plays off another striker, one called Sesko that Arsenal were looking at. His heat map, you can see predominantly, I'd say, on the left-hand side. If you look at his stats, mainly in the green, progressive passes need to work on, pass completions need to be working on, but because he's playing up top, you're not going to get that a lot. I did him compared, I don't know if you lot can see this, but I compared him against Guy Carrez, Ollie Watkins, Jimenez, Richarlison, and Ivan Toney, because those are the strikers. Like Richarlison, we have. Toney we're linked with. Jimenez we linked with. Gyökeres we're linked with. Watkins we're not, but obviously he's a top striker, so I want to see where he fares. He fares third in terms of goals and assists, and that's where the proof of the pudding is, how many goals you score in a season. So he's got more goals than Watkins, but less assists than Watkins. Slightly less goals than Gyökeres in a different league, Portuguese league, a slightly weaker league than a German league, in my opinion. In terms of shots on target, he leads. In terms of short targets percentage, he's just behind Jimenez. But here he is, first touch out of his feet, boom, finds the back of the net. Again, first touch in the back of the net, in between the two sticks, taking his man on, getting him in behind. It's just using his pace, drags it back, hits it in that corner, in between the sticks, gets in the end of things. A bit like you were saying before, Postecoglou's system. You need a player to get the end of things. He comes alive in the box. He's dangerous. Pounces on a mistake, scores a goal there. Over the top, chips the keeper, delicate finish, good composure for a striker. 1v1. We saw Sesko miss. He doesn't do that. Cuts it back. Header in the area, scores in headers. Top bins, no problem. Turn the play inside out, puts it through the keeper's legs. Here, hits it top corner, uses his laces, uses the instep just to slot it home in the far corner, back post. There he goes in the near post. He finishes there. Doesn't think too long about his finishing. Just gets it. It's instinctive right there. Again, running onto something, just being a hassle. First touch out of his feet, boom, in the back of the net. Getting on the end of things again. Again, getting on the end of the goal, back of the net, anticipating where the ball's going to be. And that's what I like about him. Anticipation header. For a short guy, he's got a nice leap on him. And he gets that header on the back of the net. Smashes the ball in the top corner. Again, at the end of something, keeps getting on the end of these shots as well, across the box. And as I said before, Ange Ball, that's all about that possession.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, just looking at those vids, he's a type of striker we've not had at Spurs. You know, he kind of looks like a player that maybe Arsenal would get, you know, in terms of his technicality, the way he moves and runs off the ball. Almost reminds me of a better version of Jesus. But do you think he's got the physicality to handle the Prem? Because he looks very slender. And I'm just thinking, against some of the big defenders, the Van Dijks, the Kanates of this world, the Salibas, does he get past him? Because he looks quite frail.
Yeah, to be fair, that's a good question. I think what he has is a lot of pace. So the pace alone is what's going to scare someone like a Van Dijk. You know, Van Dijk, if you run past him too quickly, he doesn't really like that. So balls into the channels, balls over the top, balls into feet. He comes alive in the box as well. So he's quite instinctive in that sense. And then when we play that ball where the winger smashes the ball across the 6 yard of the box, he's that type of striker that's going to be in between the two sticks. And he's going to be able to put it in the back of the net. So there's at least 5 finishes there that I showed where he gets on the end of things and he scores it from wing play, if that makes sense. So, and then even when balls are breaking or defenders are making mistakes, he's hurrying them. He's trying to make pressures on them, trying to make them force mistakes and score goals that way. Here I'm showing his progressive carries, and he's second only to Gyökeres. So he carries the ball quite a lot. As I said, he's quite quick and he's quite direct with the ball as well. And the next stat here is his possession. You can see his turn of pace, beats the man on a half turn. Again, down the channel, he's running behind. Again, down the channels, again, running behind. And he's doing a little through ball there. He's got his head up. And the first thing he wants to do is take his man on. Take his man on. Look, take a man on. Take a man on. Take a man on. So you see what type of player he is. You've got to bring him down to foul him if you want to get the ball. Look, he is getting to the byline, trying to cause trouble. In the middle of the pitch, trying to run with the ball as well. Getting the ball out of his feet. Again, the player has to bring him down. Again, on a wing. Bringing him down, trying to run down, almost like a wide forward, but he's just rapid. And don't forget, I said he scored 28 goals last season, 24 the last season, 21 the last season before that. Quick feet, gets the ball out of his feet. Physicality could be a question, So I won't rule that out. But in terms of his passing, it's not bad. It's just beneath Ollie Watkins in passing. But remember, as a striker, you're the last man, so your passing is not always going to be passing to someone else. Do you know what I'm saying? But that could tell me if his passing is better than Richarlison, Toney, and Jimenez from last season, he's not a bad player to have in the team in terms of completed passes. He's here's his switch of play as well. Switches of play again over the top, left to right. So he's got on a half turn, first time switch of play, really good there. Goals and shot creation actions there. He's third. So you know he's going to be able to help his teammates out in terms of creating goals as well. Here's a switchblade over the top, trying to crown an assist, like a little through ball into a teammate there. Little link-up play, straight first time back heel. Again, on the edge of the box, he's able to whip balls in dangerous areas, cutting across the box. The player should finish that chance there. There he is to Sesko, finding the ball up there. Again, another ball in. He has played with Werner, actually, funny enough. But these are the through balls he's doing as well, getting the ball on the edge of the area. Again, crosses it in. Sesko finishes with a header, gets around the edge of the defender, cuts it into the box. First touch, he's out of his feet. Again, cross that ball across the 6-yard box. And that's what you're getting with an Openda. And that's why like quite a few teams are kind of interested in. So there you have it. That's what you have in Openda. That's the reason why we're linked with Tony, Openda, and Guy Carez. And I think Openda, out of all of them, he's probably going to be the one we could afford, and the wages wouldn't be too crazy. But the thing is, I think if Openda fails, I think we go in for Tony, in my opinion. That's what I think on that one.
So look, obviously, first of all, like some great breakdown of Openda, seeing more of him there. I can see why he's sought after. I can obviously the quality of finishing, the type of player he is, you know, the attributes he brings. I completely understand that. The thing for me with Spurs is what we saw last year, and unless we change things up, if we're going to sign an Openda, if we're quick with the ball in transition from defense to attack like that, then it makes all the sense in the world. But we are very slow in the build-up and it's keep possession. And by that time, we're so, like I said, bottlenecked and like so clustered like in the box. I didn't see much of him, maybe because it's not the way RB Leipzig. Maybe he can play like that. If he plays for another team or a different system, he can adapt. And you know,
you're right. The German league is all about fast transitions. You're correct with that. And so Spurs at the moment, I think Spurs are better in transition than they are in possession. If I'm being totally honest, I think we're terrible in possession. But in transition, I think we actually move the ball quite quickly. But go on,
No, but what I'm saying is like, when we deal with a load of low blocks throughout last season, and we were very slow and sluggish in breaking them down.
Yeah,
I haven't seen. Obviously, I've seen that clip, and I didn't see much of it. Openda playing in that role in a low block or stuff like that. It's all very behind or part fast pace or good finishing, quick touching, which it obviously can work well against a low block. Quick finishing, quick turn, one touch, and then shot after that. But in back to goal in a low block, I didn't see much in there. But I'm not saying he can't do it because I don't. I've not.
No, you're right. You're right.
Say him do it.
No, I agree with that. I think in a low block, it's a different type of game.
Yeah, but if Spurs can transition the ball quicker and get at teams quicker rather than like I said, slow the play down, keep the possession and bottleneck like that, then I think he would work well. But it depends on, like I said. If we're going to buy a Tony, you play to his strengths. If you buy a Openda, you would play to his strengths. But we see how Ange plays, and again, it doesn't correlate. It doesn't match up to this is what I'm saying. So I'm hoping this may show a difference of approach this season if we do buy an Openda or a Tony that we will play to them strengths. But I don't know. But again, I'm not saying he's a bad striker. Evidence of the way he finishes, the way he goes about things, that he's a quality finisher. So I'd love to have him at Spurs, but whether we'd play to his absolute strengths, I don't know.
No,
I don't like him.
Yeah, fair enough. That's cool. That's fine.
I'm going to be honest with you. The reason why I say this, reason why I say it, right? He's got all the pace in the world, but I don't see any skill. And I think that's where I'm. This is where I'm kind of.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment as well.
I don't. Just by what you said, and to be honest, it's very, very good, Ashmatic. Well, I love your things anyway.
Yeah,
I appreciate it anyway. But like, and it's not his fault because I think that's just the way I'm seeing things now. I don't see the skill, and I think that's where we're going to struggle with him.
Yeah, he's not a player that's like flary. Do you know what I'm saying? Like do a steppy, drop a shoulder to beat a man. He literally relies on his direct pace to kind of beat players. Do you know what I mean? He's that kind of speed demon off the last shoulder, trying to get a shot off, that type of player. So I think that is a good assessment.
He won't last that long as well, because if he loses his pace, what has he got? Look at Sterling.
That's why I was referring to the physicality. He just looks too fragile up against Van Dijk and Kanate. He doesn't get past him. And that's what. But I do feel that Tony's got the kahunas to give Van Dijk a rough game.
But
I'm going with Tony, to be honest.
I get what people are saying. We have let's be honest. We have seen in recent seasons pace get the better of Van Dijk. So it's not he is aging and he is declining slowly but surely. Van Dijk. So pace can look. I get what you're saying. He doesn't look the most physical at 5'9". You would want a striker of his ability, like in regards to pace, shooting, and all that, and Tony's strength. Like that would be for me. But you can't build your own striker here. We have to make two of one or the other. But there's attributes there, and I think like it could work well. I mean, we've seen strikers of more diminutive stature with pacing behind cause team problems. Defoe, Keane, Owen over the years, so you can do it. It just
that was a good example, actually.
Like I'm saying, the way we come up against low blocks, will he thrive in that aspect? I don't know, but I haven't seen him go against a low block to be able to.
Defoe had skill. Yeah, Defoe was very much. He had the ball and he just wanted to shoot and score. And he knew straight away what to do. He would shoot outside the box. He would do whatever he wants. You see what I'm saying? And he could work with a striker. But I don't really look at. I just look at this guy. I see these guys 20. So many like similar to other guys that I've seen before. I'm being honest.
Cool, man. Guys, I'm going to move on from that just because obviously for time-wise.
Yeah.
You've all agreed that he's not really for Spurs in your opinion.
It's harsh, but I'm just saying what
listen, every opinion is valid and look, Chelsea might end up getting him and then we might be like, see, you see, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't for us. So like opinions are all valid, and the harsh criticisms that we need to kind of find the right player for the system for Ange, and we need to be confident like when a player comes in that this player is the right fit for us. But we've also been linked with another player, and the player goes by the name of Desiree Doue. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. Box office, you would have remembered it when I bring him back on the screen, because I think you were here when I did him before, but we're being linked to him again, so I'm going to bring him up again. Desiree Doue, and he's a player that plays for Rennes at the moment in France. He's 19 years old. Quite a few people have an issue with that because it's another youngster that we're bringing in.
Sorry, that profile there, from what you can see on the, makes more sense as a player that we'd probably get this window because of the age and obviously the youth element that it looks like we're going down. So that already fits better with what I think Spurs are doing. But sorry, I just wanted to point out for me that this makes more sense just through off the bat, like seeing that aspect. But carry on. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, that's fine. You guys interrupt any time, but this is a show together. What we're doing together. We're trying to like knuckle down and understand what's going on with Spurs and see if we can make sense of it all. And at the moment with this player, the profile, he's can play in multiple positions. He's played on a left wing predominantly, but has also played on the right wing and also played in the midfield as a 10. So he's a multifunctional player. We know Ange likes that. Players that can fit in more than one role. He's both-footed guys as well, so he can play with either foot, left foot or right foot. Contract expires in 2026, so he's got 2 years left in his contract. He actually plays in the 4-2-3-1, so you'll be familiar with the system that Ange wants in that 4-2-3-1. His heat map will show you he's predominantly on the left-hand side. His stats basically all in green. I'm not going to lie. Every stat metric you can see is just his goals, even his tackling. He presses high, he's aggressive. Goal contributions, through ball, you name it, he's got it, right? So here's some of his goal threat. You can see he's able to take his man on, hit it in top corner, gets it out his feet for the French under-21s. He represents them. He might be going to the Olympics, apparently. Outside the box, puts it in the back of the net, no problem. From those acute angles, able to generate a lot of power and still beat the keeper from those angles. Again, near post finish, powerful, right there through the keeper. Keeper should do better. But here is his dribbling. This is what's most impressive about him. Gets the ball, goes left, goes right, goes both directions. And he's able to stand his man up, slow it down, and then speed up. I think that's more impressive about him. The fact that he can slow it down and then take his man on. can go any direction. I think that's what's harder for defenders. If you can go left or right, the defender doesn't know where to go. Here's some of his link-up play as well, linking up with his teammates after each dribble. He's able to find a player, and he's got the strength as well to hold players up. A bit of skill there, flicks it over his man, beats a man for pace, puts inside the box, stands his man out. So you can see him a lot of the time on that left-hand side. He stands a man up, slows it down, and speeds it up, and then beats him. Reminds me a bit of Aaron Lennon when he used to do that. Slow it down and speed it up, and then explosive. Good feet as well. Like I said before, he's able to travel the ball into the box, take on 2 or 3 players. Also in the central midfield, is able to take players on and run at them and go either way. And so that's a nuisance for players when you've got a midfielder as a 10, or you've got a winger that can do anything. He can go either way. So you don't know how to mark him. There he is, assisting the goal there. Little short pass. Again, little pirouette on the ball, breaks off. There he's got 2-feeted, left foot, right foot. Don't know which way he's going, protects the ball. Again, he's got his foot on the ball, runs at players, does a little through ball. Here he does a little steppy, changes the shape of his body, protects the ball, little through ball into the box. There he is, taking on 2 players, got enough pace. So slightly something different to like your Brennan Johnson. He likes to run in behind. This player likes to run with the ball. Here's his passing, switches of play, balls over the top, diagonal passes, quick switches of the ball. There's little short link play there. There he's able to switch the ball, little nice faded ball across with the boot, slicing the ball to the laces of his boot. Great switch of play there. Again, gets his head up, little through ball, cheeky one. Little toe poke, little dink ball into the box with a header. There, his first touch is excellent. Ball over the top. Crazy ball over the top, by the way, there. Gets the ball into the box, switches to play again, using his ability as a 10 to find players, uses vision. Diagonal balls from the box, that's what we like to see. I remember a player from Celtic used to do that a lot of the times. That was a big feature of Ange balls, diagonal balls into the box. It's hard to defend against. Balls over the top again, cutbacks, taking his man on and getting those vital balls into the box each time. So his crossing ability is there, his passing range is there, his long balls are there, his medium to short passing range is there as well, and that reflects in the stats. And you can see in the actual eye test when you're watching him what he's about in terms of, look at that through ball, good weight of pass as well, through balls into the dangerous areas. So you just add something a little bit different, not just dynamism but vision and awareness, ability to take his man on and then have the end product to put it in. Shot creation actions, you can see there. Goal creation actions. And I put them against Jamal, Soleil, Govgren, Anthony, and Awobi there. And he's just finishing, if not second, first in those metrics each time. But yeah, that's him real quick, guys. And that's the player we're linked with. Box office. Sorry, bro. You're back on again. So yeah. What do you guys think of Doue? I know he's 19 years old. I know he's another kid, and people will be like, "Oh, he hasn't got a lot of experience." But
I see why you like him. I see why you like him. I think he's better than the other guy right now because I think he's got a little bit of skill. He needs a bit of coaching. I think he needs to. He reminds me of Ronaldo when he started out. Yeah, a lot of skill, and you know, he's got some end product there. But I need to get him a little bit more higher up the pitch, a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do his work more higher up at the pitch a little bit to be more dangerous. You know what I mean? To try and, you know, and then I think those numbers will go up even more for me. So I think there's a lot of work to do with him. Again, this is again on the coaching staff, which I still don't believe. I need to see whether this is a good coaching staff for me at the moment. Again, but I can see why you're a little bit excited, Ashmatic, on this guy because he has got a little bit of skill. I see that, but I like to see that movement. I like to see that more higher up the pitch.
I hear you saying about the coaching aspect as well, because obviously you want your players to have like double digits in terms of assists and goals, etc. So
it's now turning him from this, it's just a good player to a world-class player now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not this player that can play in the system because I hate this systematic.
Yeah,
I'm tired of it. I'm tired. Are we complaining? No.
yeah.
Capascalia don't need to play in the system. You know what I mean? That's my standard now. Cavascalia. That is my standard now. If you want a good winger, that's a winger. That's the winger now to start. That's the standard. A Georgian winger, by the way, a Georgian winger. So there's no excuses anymore. You know what I mean? So for me, he's got it. He's better than the last play we played. I'd like to see him a little bit higher up the pitch, and I want to see him more like use that body. That he can grow still. You know what I mean? So I'd just like to see a little bit more growth in him. You know what I mean? And so he can play all through the front three. You know what I mean? And that will help him. That will help him be a much better player, rather than just a one-dimensional player. You know what I mean? But he's definitely got some skill and he's got something about him, definitely. And I can see what your point. I can see why you like him, Ashmatic.
Deji, do you think he's a player that would improve Spurs? Does he come into our starting 11?
No, he doesn't come into our starting 11 just yet, because we still got Son. It's mad because I'm all for pushing young talent, and I love young talent. And I think I saw in one of our groups today that we've got about 20 young boys, who can come through. Some that we haven't even mentioned. We've got a lot of young talent. Burval is someone who's potentially in and around the starting lineup. We've got this new kid, Archie Gray, in and around, as well as the kind of other players. You've got to remember Van der Ven is young, Udogi's young, Vicario's young. I just think we've got too many young players, to be honest. I feel like, I don't want to sound like Conte, but we're going to need to back it with a little bit of experience. No disrespect. That's why we need an Eze, and he's still young, but we need a bit more, long in the tooth. Yeah, a bit more long in the tooth. Who can kind of carry the team. You get what I'm saying? So I think he's a fantastic talent, but, we're talking about the Premier League. And I think, is he going to come to Tottenham and potentially be on the... the other thing is I don't like to see top talent like this wasted. I don't like to see them on the bench not getting an opportunity. I don't like to see them just going out on loan just unnecessarily. So for me, I think maybe he's not for now. I think he's someone that we should be looking at in the next year or two, especially if we don't get Eze. If we don't get Eze, then maybe towards the end of next season, if he's still developing, then we need to consider and the reason why I'm saying that is because we need to be preparing for Son's exit. This could be Son's last season at Spurs. 33 years old, maybe we might see 34, but he's not going to be the same Son as we've known and remembered him to be. And maybe he plays a different role. Maybe he plays as a number 10. But I don't see Son staying on the left-hand side for too long. So on that basis, I'd say no. This season would be a season too early, but in the season, maybe next year or the season after, by all means, I think he's definitely a top quality player, but just not for now.
So, Alan, do you think, because we looked at, Marlon mentioned it earlier, we normally wait for teams like Crystal Palace to pick up some of these talents, or they get ripe, and then we have to pay the 60 millions to 70 millions for these type of players. Is it the club right to move for these younger players early before they kind of get known to the world? Or do you agree with Deji and Box Office? We need more ready now players now. This is we're looking like a nursery at the moment. We're looking like, as Box Office would say, one of the kids FC, we're looking like the kids generation Spurs. Go on.
Yes and no. I mean, do I just want to buy youthful players and build a young team? Not really, because like I said, Andrew's claiming he wants to challenge now and wants to do stuff like that. You're not going to do it with a team that we're assembling together, like we're assembling at the moment. From the clips you've seen, and that's all I've got to go on because I don't know about the player beforehand, so I'm not going to sit here and say I do. But from the clips I've seen, he has more in him in those little clips that I've seen than I've seen in the last season with Kulu and Brennan Johnson. Brennan Johnson, pacey behind, or running into space, fair enough, but he doesn't really take on his man. He's a bit scared too. He's not that. Kulu, strong and holding up, but very predictable because he's one-footed and stuff like that. And look, again, Kulu's one of these players I rated highly when he first got here, but as time goes on, I think he's not the end answer for Spurs. Do I think this player is the answer for now? No. Do I see Spurs getting him with what you've brought up? Young and also can play multiple position. I think it's one of them where that fits what Ange is doing at the moment. Now, do I want to get players in who I believe will cope better in the Premier League, have more experience, or know what it is to play at the high level now? Yes, because I think that puts us back. I think if you too many kids all together and all that, I think you're asking for trouble. Do I think there's a player that do I think if Spurs were to buy him this transfer window, would I be annoyed about that? No, if we also buy somebody who is going to impact the first team now. So if he is bought in conjunction with an Eze or like another winger or somebody who's going to come in and be able to play, people say, but then he won't play. But I think he, in his position and what he can do, gets more game time than a Archie Gray for me. I think he'll get more game time if he does come in as addition. But knowing Spurs, the way we're doing business at the moment, he will be our signing this summer. Do I think it's the right thing to do just him by himself? No. But again, like I say, from what you've shown me there, I've seen various types of play that I haven't seen, like multiple aspects to his game that I haven't seen from our wingers. I see very one-dimensional wingers at Spurs. This is not including Son, so people just go, what you're saying about Son? No. Obviously, we know what Son can do, but compared to Kulu and Brennan Johnson, I see more aspects to this guy's game at a young age than I do with the other two.
I would just to add on to that. I'd say, like, I agree with all you guys. We need a bit more experience, a bit more know-how in the team. But if Doue was to come, Desiree Doue, and then you had the Openda there on that transition, I could see him picking the ball up, doing the balls over the top, ball switching the play, moving it a bit quicker, taking his man on, dribbling, and getting shots at the end of it. That would more work with Openda, if that makes sense. And then the Eze there as well, like maybe Doue on the right, Eze on the left, Openda in behind. Then we're kind of looking a bit better. We've got a bit more tactical flexibility. But like I said, if Tony was to come in, I wouldn't be mad. But
yeah, all the Sips comment there. Brennan J's highlight reel makes him look good too, though. Hard to tell without watching the player all season. I get that. When I saw Brennan Johnson,
I did Brennan Johnson.
Yeah.
When I did my highlight reel, it didn't look like this guy.
Yeah. When I saw Brennan Johnson's highlight reel and stuff like that before he came in, it looked all the same. Like over the top into space and running clear of people, because obviously running into space, and he would ball carry, but I didn't see much of him taking on a player, going past one or two, cutting inside, through balls, and I didn't see anything like that.
No switches to play, no balls over the top, no long passing, no range of pass, none of that.
It's night and day. I agree with what you're saying. You need to see a player in real time, all the Sips and thing like that, rather than just a highlight reel. But also, the highlight reels are chalk and cheese between this guy and what I saw from Brennan Johnson.
In fact, not tonight, but I'll bring up the highlight reel I did of Johnson one time just to prove a point. But anyway, guys, any final thoughts? Because I'm going to end the show there, and I'm going to start with you, Mr. Box Office. What are your final thoughts for the show, and what have you got coming up?
I just think we're just an absolute mess in attack. I've got to be honest. I don't know what we are all about, and I just don't know what the whole thing's all about at the moment with Tottenham at the moment. You know what I mean? And I just think the signing of Archie Gray and the overhype of the whole thing, for me, just doesn't really. And I'm not having a go at Charlie, because to be honest with you, I'll listen to him more because he's watched the player. You know what I mean? And I'll give him that. I will definitely give him that. And I wasn't trying to be contradictory, saying, "Oh, I don't do." No, I don't do stats. But the thing is, the way that we're talking about him, why do you not get through the cup final, the player final? You know, because if we're going to say that he's a top player, he inspires the team to do well and get to the get into the Premier League. You know what I mean? Ultimately, but I just don't know, Ashmatic. I really don't know, and I'm just getting tired of the thing when you say this, they say you ain't got football knowledge, you don't have any football knowledge at all because you don't like Ange Postecoglou, and it's the same old tiring little thing, and it's so boring. And the thing is, though, these little people, and I'm not even being funny, and I don't even want to go there. At least I've got my man Deji. I might not agree with him, but at least he turns up. Jay turns up. but all the other people don't turn up. So it's like, what you saying? But they'll be still crying in their cornflakes when we don't do well next season. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying?
I agree.
I'm
I
sorry.
agree.
Me and Deji and Jay, we all understand next season we're gonna clash. We all understand it. We just accept it. But then you get people. We've seen it today in the chat, and I don't really care whether it's because it's Mr. Box Office time. I don't care. Yeah, right. It's that the same old thing. It's they have a go and they say you don't have any football knowledge because I don't like someone. Come on, Dan's another one as well. Big up Dan and Savo and all them, not Stelios and all them. You know what I mean? They turn up, but I'm just fed up now, bro. I'm fed up. They need to prove it to me now. They need to prove it. I'm sorry. I'm not changing my mind. I'm not gonna have a go at people because I'm not gonna have a go at Deji or you or anyone because at least you've got the minerals to say come into my face and say I don't agree with you. Yeah, we'll still battle, but at least I have it. But I'm sorry, I'm done with this overhyping and all this rubbish. If you want to do that, that's cool. But Mr. Box Office ain't going nowhere, and that's it. If you don't know, get to know. Back to you. That's right. I'm done.
Mr. Allen, Queen, Mr. Allen. I'm added on. What's your final conclusion? We've signed a new player. We're linked with some players at the moment, and what do you think? What direction is Ange going in? This is the season he wants to challenge.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, man.
So I did a show yesterday on my channel, a cheap plug, this fair enough. Thank you very much. But it was very toxic very quickly because with someone like me, look, I want any player that comes to Spurs, whether I like to be proved wrong. So although I was going for Brendan Johnson last season, when he played well, I was like, fair enough, he had a good game. Let's continue going. So I always want people to like players to prove me wrong. I want any player that comes to Spurs, whether I think they're going to do well or not, I want them to prove me wrong. I want the best from that player to improve Spurs, to challenge, and to go and win things. That's the end goal for me. But I agree with Alex to a point. If you don't think a player's going to work or anything, you voice concerns, because it's not concerns. We're not putting the player down. We're saying we're not sure what, like for me, what kind of position are we going in as a club? Like, are we challenging like Ange just said, or he wants to do, or are we building for a future? If so, if we are challenging now, does Archie Gray do that? Who knows? Only someone will tell. But I just don't get the idea. Now I'm going to say something, and again, it's not to go after a manager or anything like that. I'm just basically saying we get told that every single person that comes into Tottenham is Ange's signing. Okay, so if they're all Ange's signing, that's to compete, be in a position to be in the first team or have game time. We see a couple of players last year in regards to Phillips and Villiers who weren't quite what we thought they were going to be or didn't even get game time, were loaned out. And also, Villiers got a bit of game time before he got injured, but then got loaned out. You've then also got now the players are like Archie Gray and all that. Will they get game time? I don't know. There was rumours. I don't know if it's true, but people were saying it in my chat yesterday that we were actually looking at Archie Gray before he signed a professional contract, and also when he was being linked with Dortmund as well. So that would say that was before Ange's time. So is it a club signing that? Now, if it is a club signing, we just need clarification, because I want Ange to succeed. I think if you give Ange tools to do the job, I think he can be a successful manager at Spurs. I really do. But if you're saying, if Ange is just trying to say, like, I'll take it on my shoulders, like from the big bosses, it's all on me, but then that's how people are going to judge him. If he's being judged on club signings that he doesn't want, he needs to come out and say, because I just want it to be a known fact of what we're doing as a club, what the manager wants to do compared to what we're giving him, just so we have clarity. Because I don't want the manager to be thrown under the bus again at Spurs. I don't want that. I don't want players thrown under the bus because they're being bought in a position where we're challenging, but then don't get game time. And this is what I'm saying. As a club, I hate the way we run it as a club. Players who come into Spurs and managers, I always want to do well, whether we get them or not. And the way we've started this transfer window, I don't see the idea behind what we're trying to do. If people in the comments do, just quickly put it up there as we're finishing the show, just so I can see what you think the idea is. But it just seems so disjointed at the moment. So again, I hope Archie Gray does well. Whoever comes in after the fact to build a team, I hope we do well. I also hope we bring in players to win now, to fill what Ange said at the end of the season. But I want to know what we're doing as a club, because it seems a bit mismatched for me at the moment. But I want Spurs to do better than last season and hopefully win a trophy. But we'll see what happens.
Cool. Deji, I'll let you have the final word, man.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it short and sweet.
Go for it.
2nd of July, 2024. It might be the only time that you find that I agree with both Mr. Box Office and Alan at the same time. So something clearly is going wrong at our club. And I'll tell you why. I agree with both of our guests tonight. For me, I banter Arsenal fans when I say that, I look at some of the players they bring in. And I kind of agree with Danny Rose, whose birthday is today, by the way, that sometimes you just need to see tried and trusted. You need to see big players. You need to see players can do the job. Timo Werner and Archie Gray is not, that ain't no step in any direction. That is a piss take. We are not even getting top 6 with them 2 signings. No disrespect, but Archie Gray, he's got potential, but he's unproven. Yeah, Championship and the Prem are 2 different levels. You can't just come up from the Championship into the Prem and hit the ground running. It doesn't happen. Look at Burnley under Company, slapping up everyone, came to the Prem, got slapped up. That's how it is, yeah? The level is that high. So for me, right now, the transfer window it's going to be one of the worst I've seen. Because I'm trying to rate it when we sold Gareth Bale. In the season we sold Gareth Bale, I can't remember all of the 7 players we brought in, but we brought in Lamella, we brought in Nasser Chadley, we brought in Christian Eriksen, I think we brought in Soldado. Do you know what I mean? That already sounds a lot better than Timo Werner and Archie Gray. Just saying. The only thing that I'm holding on for is that Postecoglou's been in Germany tapping up players. Yeah, we've been seeing him on ITV. For those of you thinking he's doing punditry, I think he's out there tapping up players and waiting for the ones he really wants to get out and to bring them in. That's what I'm hoping for. And that's why he's in Germany as we speak. But if this is what he's going to be giving us, mate, I might stream once a month in the new season. That's crazy. That's it.
It's an agent ad, yeah? Guys, man, big up for coming on. Big up to my panel and Time Added On. Alan, you can catch him. Yeah, just subscribe. Yeah, right. He's always on, so make sure you get over to Time Added On as soon as possible and subscribe and support a wonderful channel. But bro, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you coming on, man. I really do appreciate, man.
No. Thanks for the invite. And like, if you ever need somebody again, just send me a message. If I'm free, I'll jump on. No worries. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Mr. Box Office TV, always a pleasure, man.
Can I just say something? Spurs, sort yourselves out, because I'm sorry, I need Deji back, bruv. I need my Deji back, bruv.
But you can see that I'm a realist, though.
Yeah, I know you're a realist, bruv, but I need my Deji back, bruv. Like, I'm sorry, but I need the energy back.
I am not thrilled with the signing so far.
The fact that Deji is not thrilled says a lot. So Spurs, you're doing something bad, bruv, yeah? Sort yourselves out, bruv. Sort yourselves out, because if Deji's not shaking his bum like he says, his quote, yeah, sort yourselves bloody out, bruv. You know what I mean?
Those 2 signings, crikey.
My gosh, if he's getting depressed, what does that say to you? For goodness sake, you should be embarrassed, you Tottenham. Honestly, sorry, Ashmatic. But I just had to say, it's Mr. Box Office TV, by the way. Like and subscribe. If you don't know, get to know. Back to you, Ashmatic, and I'm done.
Yes, and always it's a pleasure to have Deji on as well. Big yourselves up each and every time. We need to get things cracking. We've got a show tomorrow, by the way. Before I leave, do make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tomorrow, I need to see some fireworks because the Rivals is back on. And we need to get this back in order. Deji, you around? You around for the?
Hopefully I should be around. Yeah.
ready for the fight, the war.
Yeah.
And also, guys, big up to the chat. Each and every time I see you guys in there putting contributions, you guys making it show what it is today, man. Always, but yeah, man, love for the love, big up, and as always, come on, you Spurs, man. We are Spurs fans. Come on, you Spurs. Peace.